Peace. Man, happy now. Now is the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. Let me first off start by saying, looking at my growth. You know, whenever you get to a place of really resonating with some information, and I done said this multiple times, and again, as I speak on certain things, it's also a reminder to myself, you know what I'm saying? That I'm a I'm not perfect, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm still on my growth. I'm constantly learning myself. And I always made sure I never claimed to be, hey, I know everything about everything. The things that I do be tapped in on, well, yeah, I'm going to deliver that with a high level of confidence and reassurance. But again, but always acknowledging that I'm constantly on my growth as well. But I realized how, coming out at the beginning, doing my videos and just, that vibe of, like, well, I realized even though I shouldn't have been, that disconnected from my root chakra, it was a part of the energy that was accurate with me, connecting with that higher self on such a high level in essence. But getting to a point of realizing, especially after my DMT experience, realizing that we really, source on a human experience. We are energies and bodysuits. You know, Matter of fact, shout out to the brethren, Polo, the the flight boss, Archangel Uriel, coming through. Matter of fact, like seeing him come through on that energy, but basically breaking down the melanin vibes and like fake consciousness in essence, which I'm not coming at it in that manner, but in which I always did speak on that. I'm like, hey, my videos could possibly make a quote unquote black person mad, a white person mad, Asian, Brazilian, Australian, whatever you may resonate with from a bodysuit perspective, you may get your feelings hurt with a lot of my videos. And also though, with my videos, I had to, I made that video, and again, just for myself, I necessarily didn't really have to apologize in that essence, but I felt, the vibe again to apologize, just more so from that perfectionist teacher vibe, like, because of course I'm going, we make mistakes on our growth. Like our growth is not everything perfect. Like if we came down here with all the knowledge of everything, then what would be our experience? So it is that level of when I spoke to apologizing for backtracking on information in essence, and also like, because I realized that vibe, and it came to me lately. That's why I did that Maymester video, like that Maymester where it's like no more backtracking, trying to help people. Matter of fact, and I wrote it here, reason for my apology, because I knew better and I let fear, the fear of being so far out there, you know what I'm saying? Like that fear seeped into me, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, because I was allowing for myself to be in external conditions that was allowing, more fear to come in internally. Because again, first is just the hint of it, coming out within me. So just a hint of fear coming out within me is going to have me operating in such a manner that I'm going to allow for myself to be in fearful places externally. Like, so again, when a little bit of fear starts to crack into me, or should I say emerge within myself through me, not through me slipping in my alignment with inner source, as that fear seeps in, it creates a vibration, where I'm going to start to operate in a manner that's going to put me in places where other, fear vibrations are, because that, but, that fear of being outlandish, because I think about my video where I was basically, I was coming down off of my DMT trip one time, and as I'm speaking on DMT, our pineal gland secretes DMT, every time I do a pranic breath or yogic breathing, our pineal secretes DMT. Now, of course, if you're in the earlier stages of it, which is still will secrete, but very minimal, or like if you're just starting off, like if you haven't been paying any attention to your pineal at all, but again, not to make it seem like DMT is the only way to have this connection. You could reach these connections through meditation in general. But through my experiences with DMT and mushrooms, more so intensely so with DMT, where it just really stripped the ego and let me know, like, fuck a bodysuit. And when I say fuck, again, we are on this human experience, but it was kind of, because it's letting you know your true existence. It's like, hey, like, all this shit you see around you, you just in a plane of existence, some simulated plane of existence. You're really, source, you're really all that is, energetically dispersed into and I say energetically dispersed into a bodysuit, but your energy, from that whole, fractally dispersed into a bodysuit, But basically, had that raw strip down of that energy, realizing like, hey, that black shit, that back to Africa shit, cause matter of fact, that's the thing too, that cause the video from Archangel Uriel was a confirmation, cause I've been getting them thoughts about like how that back to Africa vibe is like that banana in the tailpipe vibe, like, so say for instance where the media and stuff gonna start to like, hey, now, oh yeah, Africa, and and getting back to roots and stuff, where again, people from this perspective of, being black or African or melanated, that's aimed at them to fall in that banana in the tailpipe of like, oh yeah, my heritage, this and that, and we're gonna kind of tap into that vibe as well, because again, that's one of my energies of growing past. One of the energies I'm growing past, like based on the past life, I would always let my big heart hold me back, in essence, like and I would always be trying to save others on a level of putting my own energy in jeopardy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm getting glimpses of that. So, again, like what we dealing with right now is, in essence, like replaying and showing us those things that, we would always, fall victim to. So I had to catch myself with that, going back, like, let me do this for my peoples, you know what I'm saying? Because again, that is a parasitic mind frame in the essence of, we are source on a human experience. All these little storylines, of course, in it, like say for instance, the energies point to something that is true, you know what I'm saying? Like, but for the most part, all this, Africa and all these different stories, basically dealing with our history, should be looked at more as on a as above, so below aspect, more so in a symbolic way. So like when we hear about, say for instance, for example, mythology, explaining, they have these stories, Persephone went into the underworld, she was kidnapped by Hades, but it's not for us to look at the story from that 3D perspective. Is to look at the perspective of cycles and energy. It was speaking to, the time of like winter, the time when things don't grow. Persephone, when she was in the underworld for those what it was, like those 4 months out of the year, that was like that fall winterish area, you know what I'm saying, but more so winter, where it was lacking lacking growth, lacking these plants. So again, it was a explanation of a certain situation energetically, and not speaking to an actual person named Persephone that went into the underworld and she came back, you know what I'm saying? So, understanding that on that level, because it is a level where, we should be learning just like be like this expression of being in the world but not of it, you know, learning from history but not being of it in essence, you know, like not getting like strongly tying yourself to it, because again that's what's going, you know, when we transition, you know, that all that, oh, I'm a Rastafari, I'm a, you know, I'm a black person, I'm this, I'm that, you know. Again, now if you're able to, you know, deal with these things and strongly have your vibe to really, you know, subconsciously know that, hey, at the end of the day, this all I'm just, you know, how can I say, that in the back of the mind vibe where we know we kind of playing a role, you know, then that's, you know, and that's more of an advance. I almost kind of messed that up, and that's which I'm gonna get to that in a deeper sense. But yeah, some people are able to, you know, acknowledge these things without getting caught up in it. But again, you know, it's for us to learn from the history, but not, you know, we're not bringing it all forward with us. You know what I'm saying? It's like learning from the aspects of it, you know, but not bringing it, you know, all forward. You know, because again, just like using astrology, you know, astrology comes from, you know, people was using it in, you know, in the past, you know, but it's not for us to you know, lock ourselves into it and let it be the end all be all, you know. At the same time, like using it for what it helps to be used for is like accurately, you know, knowing what energies are, you know, influencing this physical matrix in certain times, you know. And again, like with historical stories and mythology, you know, it's painting a picture of energies. You know, it's speaking of energetic cycles and you know, planets, you know, like say for instance the kiss from Judas, you know what I'm saying, with Jesus, that's the sun being you know, the sun going into that death mode, because matter of fact, again, Scorpio is dealing with the underworld, and on the elliptical, when the sun is passing through the Scorpio constellation, is about to go into December 21st or 25th, where they have the 3 days of the least amount of daylight, you know what I'm saying. And matter of fact, I think within the Jesus story, say rose on the third day, and this and that. You know, again, this is symbology. This is astrotheology, basically. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's us dealing with these stories to really know the deeper meaning. Because if we get caught up in the bullshit of, oh yeah, Jesus, and you know, even down to ancient stuff like of Atlantis and Lemuria, you know what I'm saying? It's like us, you know, tapping into these energies to learn, you know, more so learn from our mistakes in essence, you know. It's like, all right, you know, history repeats itself if we don't learn how to, you know, to expand and learn how to break out of our comfort zone and learn how to step into the unknown, you know. Because that's what it is about. Like, it's constantly us being taught to step into that unknown place, that place where you know, where in essence, you know, you have to basically trust your inner guidance. You know, there is no there's not a story for everything as far as when we stepping into the unknown. But again, the historic vibes, you know, helps with understanding how to move forward. But it's not, whenever we dwelling within it, you know, and using it as the end all be all. Like, we should be speaking on, like, dealing with history and from a perspective of like, all right, now it's sourced on the human experience. You know, we got a such and such this and that to not, you know, get caught up in this vibe. But again, like, because I just came across the video, so it wasn't no coincidence that I came across a video where Dr. Phil Valentine was speaking on that. Like, it's like with, like, you know, that back to Africa bullshit. It's like shit, you know, again, with the brethren and Flight Boss brought up in his video, which I knew, that's why I was like, all right, I gotta make this video, because it's too synchronized. It was like, you know, with Leo Africanus, the person, like, that's where Africa get his name from, you know what I'm saying? Like, which was said to be, again, he discovered, but whatever. But, you know, and again, not getting caught up with all that. Again, it's time for us to, you know, back out of all the petty argument vibe of like, certain history on a human level. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's really kind of drawing us down and, taking us from moving forward and stepping into, being our greatest version, which is, again, breaking out of these old paradigms. All these old, this is a paradigm shift. So with a paradigm shift, that means we're breaking out of old paradigms. That's why I like to always speak on, us writing new books and coming up and say new books and new information again, with the cliche quote of nothing new under the sun, but there are things that are unfamiliar or that some of us, may not remember or have not re-remembered in this lifetime that will come off as, new. So in essence, it's us being, again, our true soulful self, not trying to be, not trying to be people pleasing and, again, delivering information because, all right, this is information that's going to make people comfortable. Like, nah, fuck that. Like, if, it's got to be authentic. It got to be real. It's not about just, people pleasing, vibes. Because, again, if we were out here people pleasing, say, for instance, most people in this realm are ignorant to true facts. So if I was out here people pleasing, that means I would have to acknowledge or give in to ignorance in order to please someone. And we don't want to give in to ignorance in order to just please or, to be cordial or to, not ruffle anybody's feathers. Again, ain't nothing wrong with ruffling the feathers of the that parasitic egoic mind energy, But again, but speaking to, again, there is it's a balance. Again, some aspects of history we do deal with, but it's not getting caught up in it because, again, even looking at astrology is a form of, still dealing with history. Shit, to even know how melanin ain't important, in essence, comes from a pre-existing vibe. So again, whether we use the name as history or not, it's still some pre-existing energies, information, light code, or whatever, that had to, had to pre-exist for us to realize, all right, yeah, all that melanin shit and all that overlay, like, of course, is like, and that's why too, when I've been explaining it, I've been like, shit, whatever you want to call it, whether we call it no matter what it's called, what it is in essence is just a connection, what I'm saying, energetically, what I'm saying, it's an energetic connection to the realm externally, what I'm saying, like it's almost like the fabric of the universe in essence, but again, not to be looked at as some again, some skin pigmentation or something that makes you better than anybody, again, because then you stepping into that form of ego, you identifying with that melanin, with that pigmentation, instead of identifying as source on a human experience, knowing that, hey, just my bodysuit got some type of little, color or energy to it, but I'm more than that, what I'm saying? Because again, it's getting back to that vibe of, really being upfront and truthful, like no matter how, ahead of time it may be for somebody to hear this information, it is what it is, because again, realizing that purpose for myself, and how much I've backtracked in that area due to, again, wanting to save everybody in that old mind frame of, again, like, being melanated or black, gotta go backwards to save my homeboys, or gotta go backwards to save the, gotta go backwards to again, for one, again, wishing I could save it, that energy, again, speaking for myself, that energy of wishing I could save everybody and trying to, almost damn near, and how I would always say, not going in the quicksand, with somebody. I reach my hand out, but not going back. And I've been basically, for to put it in an analogy form, I got my head is in the quicksand, like while my foot and my toes is connected to land. I I have been diving deep into that quicksand, trying to reach as far as possible to pull people up, you know, because again, that connection is still there. Like after my DMT experiences, I would never, you know, get lost in the sauce of like, oh, I'm black, I'm white, or I'm, you know, melanin, or I got more melanin than you, or this and that, you know. Again, and when I have done videos on it, it was again speaking to the perspective for those, you know, new to the growth, and just kind of giving because even when breaking it down, I always like to say like, hey, you know, this aspect is, you know, it does, again, I would be lying to say that when you look at the melanin, you know what I'm saying, and melanated people, it'd be a lie to say that I don't see some type of, you know, difference in the connection, or different in the vibes of, like, again, like with dancing, movement, running fast, jumping high, you know what I'm saying, certain levels of intellect on certain levels. But again, that's not saying that anybody's better than anybody because of that, because again, we all a part of this whole, you know, fabric. Again, it's like the body, as above so below, you know, got lungs, heart, intestines, you know, muscles, bone, fluid, red blood cells, white blood cells, like all different types of materials, you know, different elements, you know what I'm saying, water, air, you know, heat, fire, you know what I'm saying, all the electricity, fire, you know what I'm saying, like, got all these different aspects in this one body, you know, operating, you know, operating together, although it, you know, may have those differences, because again, the differences are the illusion. But again, like you know, speaking on those energies, wait, matter of fact, apologies, because I was about to go somewhere. It's funny because the notes, doing like having little bullet points, they could they serve my video sometimes, and then sometimes it'll have little moments where I have to you know, pause and reread what I'm looking at, or like I was going with the flow of saying something, but then it's like, oh, but make sure you speak on that. But you know, again, definitely a paradigm shift, and for us to really get in that mode of really realizing like, hey, you know, we source, this world is not our home, we just passing through, you know what I'm saying, like not getting caught up, because matter of fact, root chakra trauma, as above so below, is like the earth is a, you know, like a big chakra in essence, you know, and again, like that law of correspondence, you know, earth is a chakra itself and has chakras within it, you know, and then within the earth, you know, it has little organisms, aka our little human body suits, that have chakras in it, you know, and then, you know, again, our root chakra is a chakra, and it has little miniature vortexes within it, you know what I'm saying, just like we talk about the 72 Goetia and the 72 you know, the 72 vortexes within the pineal chakra, or not pineal, but the Anya chakra, the third eye, and also those 72 vortexes, or 72 energies, again, within the different 5 aspects of our you know, senses, in essence, more so like, in essence, to create like clear sentience, clear you know, all the different clear abilities. But you know, we got taste, touch, just like the 5 senses: taste, touch, smell, hearing, and I know I'm missing one. But you get the picture, you know. Again, those 72 energies spread out throughout the 5, and they give you the ring of Solomon, or the 360 degrees, you know. And the ring of Solomon also, in essence, you know, again, Solomon's temple, the bodysuit, being able to manage those 7 seals, the 7 seals, the 7 chakras, you know what I'm saying? Basically personification of mastering the energies of the bodysuit. And again, so eh, when tapping into history and reading and things of this nature, you know, we using the information to learn from, to grow from, but then not getting caught in the information as far as just harping on it, you know, all the time. And again, I'm I'm definitely not perfect on my growth. Where again, I saw areas where like I was leaning back into going back into those brainwashed vibes, and it could happen, again, and it's showing how real it is, again, to have that awareness, because whenever we being governed by, again, like going with the flow of like, and that's why I always speak on a level like with, learning from like elders and like, oh, do this just because, I'm an elder and because I've been on this earthly plane longer than you, you gotta listen to what I say just because, it's like, nah, we breaking out of that paradigm, you know what I'm saying? Of just listening just because, So again, history better serving is a like on a symbolic level, on an as above, so below level, we not getting caught up in the earthly heritage or bloodline. It's more so just like again, like tapping into any elder information just to, realize what's going on right now, like tapping into astrology to, know what's going on right now. But we're gonna see though, like right now in this time, matter of fact, 2019 going to 2020, clear vision, the veil is gonna be lifting on such a high level, where our daily experience, especially those who familiar with like psychedelic experiences, where every day gonna feel like it's gonna get to the point where, again, like all these different I was gonna say like all the different external substances, but in essence, yeah, like it will be more and more unneeded, because this realm, the more and more we raise the vibration and step, or should I say, because when I say raising the vibration, again, it's not like raising the vibration and like, oh, I'm against, the vibrations that may be lower. Like say, for instance, like, look at the root chakra. As a fact, the root chakra vibrates slower than the crown chakra. But again, when I say raising to these high vibrations, as we shift dimensions, different dimensions are on different vibratory states of being, you know what I'm saying? So as we shift, and then that's why it's like a higher dimension, so to speak, because the vibratory energy is vibrating on a higher frequency. Doesn't necessarily mean, raising the vibration to disconnect, you know what I'm saying? To disconnect with the balance of our being, because again, now is to vibrate. We are here on a human experience in human bodies, you know what I'm saying? And in order for spirit to be able to, be able to operate and do things on this realm of, in this plane of existence, it takes a bodysuit. But, and also just again to that point blank period vibe of like, we source on a human experience, like, source, like just the source consciousness. And again, now this explanation kind of like, this is my own vibe that I caught from my own inner gnosis, just having that vision of being sourced by itself, like how they always have that story of how, the energy, that one dot. I'm gonna start off just showing the one dot, how you got the one dot, right there, and then that one dot, or that one, consciousness becomes aware of everything around it. Create that first circle, of consciousness. Matter of fact, how you end up getting the the flower of life, where that circle then goes to the furthest point, you know, like, all right, I could move. I done push, you know, stay in that one point and let the awareness extend out, consciousness extend out. It's like, shit, my consciousness extend that far, I could go to that extent of my consciousness. And bam, from that point, I could be consciously aware of this new point, you know, and that expands outwardly. From there, let's do my zone. Get that vesica Pisces, that feminine energy, the breast, the booty. You know, it also, you know, again points to that divine feminine vibe, you know, kind of having that primordial, you know, existence. But, you know, with that dot, so again, like just one ball of consciousness sitting by itself. You know what I'm saying? Like just by itself. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna get pretty boring in essence, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you're gonna create an experience, you know, to be able to, you know what I'm saying, have or say for instance, in order to have a experience, you know, you gotta have contrast, you know, because if everything is all the same throughout all, you know, the whole existence, then what experience we have? And I again, like if everything, if we all walk, talk, look the same, had all the same knowledge, like, hey, how you doing today? How you doing today? I know everything you know. I know everything you know. You know what I'm saying? It's like it wouldn't be any experience, you know. So, you know, and again, I don't mind sharing that on videos, but I do be aware of like sharing that perspective of like, hey, we just source, you know, enjoying ourselves at the end of the day, you know. At the end of the day, this all is some, you know what I'm saying, like even down to, and again, all right, because it is a certain way we want to deliver this information. But let's just say, you know, with all aspects of everything, like it's all a game. Let's just say that. But not all a game to the extent, because again, then you're gonna mess up the experience for all of us, because that there is, I feel like and I spoke on that, like the Antichrist is the person who just really comes out and be like, man, all this shit a fucking game, just all the way. Like, fuck a zodiac sign, fuck a melanin, fuck a white this or black that or this and that or yin and yang, positive and negative. Like it's all created through the consciousness of, you know, source. Like, you know, and I'm source for lack of a better word. You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't channeled any word. I haven't channeled any word to use yet. So for lack of a better word, source. You know what I'm saying? But again, like you know, all these things, you know, if you get down to the nitty gritty and just want to just like, but again, having that straight up mind frame, then that would, you know, take away from the experience, you know what I'm saying? Because again, some people may not be able to know, you know that type of information and still live their life with purpose, you know what I'm saying? And that's part of my punishment for like asking to know everything. Like with my DMT trip, I'm like, I want to see what it feel like to be God, and I want to kind of just like, you know, want to know everything in that sense. I want to, you know, so like, oh, all right, you want the full gist of it, Mr. Curious over here, all right. You know, so like, you know, smack me with the, you know, with the full gist of it. But again, if certain truths, if not explained properly, can ruin somebody's perspective. So again, you know, as I'm saying this, you know, again, able to say this because we realize, again, on the flip side, while you would, again, live with purpose, even though knowing that. So after knowing, like, all right, hey, I'm source, and I made up all this shit, you know, to have some experience. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna feel like, oh, well, that mean this all some bullshit, so my life ain't got no purpose. I'm not gonna have that mind frame because I realize, well, hey, shit, on the other end, I could be a ball of consciousness just sitting by itself, so I understand. So yes, so all right, I came into this realm. My mom named Barbara, and you know, and I'm called Ray, universe. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, that's the beginning stage of, because of course even you know, moving from there as far as like, well, you know, of course, like that's why I'm using quotations, like, because we know not really identify like, oh, I'm called Ray, that's the end all be all, you know, no, but you know, uh, you know, coming down here and dealing with the, you know, the matrix, and you know, being here, you know, like again, being in this world but not of it, you know, have fun with it, because your existence could be way more boring. So you know, even though spiritual growth can be difficult, it's like, you know, that's the fun, that's the thrill of it. You know, uh but at the same time, you know, it is a certain level of you know, I don't like to, for lack of a better word, you know, seriousness as far as with our growth and realizing certain aspects. You know, like, you do want to take it serious to know that all that bullshit, again, like, at the end of the day, you know, with the being black, or the history of heritage and all that Africa, you know, because again, that's why I like my videos take so long, because I like to, you know, you can't just say one thing without fully explaining, you know, certain aspects. You know, I don't like to use the word can't, but you know, it's difficult. You know, you don't want to, it would throw things off, you know, if you don't fully explain, you know, the fullness of aspects. But you know, of course, like breadcrumbs, you know, retracting, you know, learning certain historical aspects to know and learn what not to do, and what not to fall back victim, you know, into. You know, the ancestors are always, you know, in essence, showing us about like how to leave this motherfucker, you know, how to know how to, like, earth leaving 101, like enjoying the experience and realizing that, you know, that you know, it is experience. And again, we also to a certain extent in God jail, you know, uh in which speaking to a certain truth that that uh Dolo the flight boss spoke on, where he's talking about like, shit, melanin is actually a curse. That means you actually been burned up by the sun. Cause matter of fact, think about it too. This sun is a fake sun. So to be able to like in essence to brag on, and I like when he said that, I'm like, yeah, that is like, that's that sauce right there. Like, you know, to like bragging on, like, to, oh yeah, my bodysuit could take a lot of sun. Well, shit, I mean, it's just a body. So again, like, this is a that sunlight is a false sunlight in essence to begin with, you know what I'm saying? So that's why too, with speaking with sun gazing and all this, like, not getting too caught up in it, because again, like, and so too, being careful with history. So like with the sun worship, stuff like that, where you get caught up in the sauce of like worshiping the sun, or like, or acknowledging this sun in the skies, like, you know, as some type of like almost like raising it above you, you know, in essence, where it's basically like the matrix, like it's not, you know, the real sun in essence. So by embodying any little form of religion or worship towards it, will, you know, further lock you down into this, you know, into the to the matrix, into that mind frame. You know, the brain is a part of the matrix, you know, or a part of creating the matrix. You know, as a matter of fact, you know, our light, you know, our eyes read light. You know, it's all it is just nothing but little light signatures, you know, that we read, and the brain picking up on, and the brain, you know, processing and saying, hey, this is an oak tree over here. This is a palm tree, you know, due to the, again, like how crystals have a certain molecular structure, you know, a certain, let's just say a crystal lattice, but like almost like our chakras, like an energetic molecular structure / crystal lattice on an energetic level that's present, and that's present on a non-physical level, quote unquote, and then it allows for this physical aspect of that energy to manifest on a physical level. So like a tree or any of this is all basically like different crystal lattices or light structures, so to speak. And these different crystal lattices or light structures give like an algorithm. It gives off a certain energy of information, and our eyes read it as what we read it as. So our eyes pick it up in the brain, probably like, all right, that's a palm tree, or that's this. Because again, even with connecting with nature and grounding and things of this nature, realizing doing that out of just working with the elements, and again, not seeing this realm as the end all be all. You know what I'm saying? There's more to our existence than just this realm, just this body, and as above so below, this physical realm or this physical bodysuit. It's more to within that. But that's why I never answer to, like, another thing too, when the importance of knowing, who and what you are and your own energies and stuff like that. Where, when sometimes when I was kind of backtracking to a certain extent with certain videos, people like, oh man, you talking about this identity, and I get where they was coming from, but again, that was just me working through my energies and how I say, doing what was meant for in that moment. You know what I'm saying? And again, I do realize, like, toting that line, that Papa Legba vibe, walking that line, that in-between realm, And at the end of the day, too, right now, we're realizing that the only culprit, like the only real culprit right now, if we're going to really realize, it ain't no oppressor, it ain't no white. I mean, again, I always spoke to that. It ain't never been no, oh, it's my oppressor, oh, it's the white man. We all dealing with, again, it's not like a straight up fate where we like, oh, everything is guided by this high. Like, you're not doing anything. Everything is all predestined already. It's not on that level to that extent, but it is a level of how can I say, and where was I? Talking about the real culprit, dealing with fear and kind of fell out of that. But basically, fear itself is the thing that's trying to pull us down. Because right now, that's the main message too. Outside of this, of dropping all these these egotistical ties to all these labels and brands, and like melanin, black, white, Asian, African, Australian, European, all these different things. If we're gonna be using these terminologies, you want to use them lightly, if at all. Or again, you want to, if dealing with it, knowing who and what you are fully in your subconscious, so as you speak on it, you're not falling into the sauce. But again, the fear right now is, like a lot of us dealing with, again, not stepping into being our greatest version, due to fear, due to worrying about what others gonna think about us. Again, I spoke to I had to make my apology for, even backtracking the little I did, because I didn't go fully backtracking to be like, oh yeah, I am a melanated being, I am black, and this is the end all be all to my existence. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. But, the fact that I was flirting with that information, a little too much to my high self liking, to my inner soul liking, matter of fact, again, shout out to Archangel Uriel for being, again, speaking that reflections and being guiding lights, you know, uh, like trailblazers, you know, again, not doing or dealing with the constructs of what's going on. And that doesn't mean, oh, let me just be outrageous or willy-nilly, because, yeah, I'm breaking down the constructs of the matrix. Nah, it should be in alignment with who we truly are, being authentic to ourselves, you know, where indirectly you will start, you know, as you be true and authentic, you know, to your true self, not the conditions of what mommy and daddy or our guardians molded us into, or our neighborhoods molded us into, or, you know, with these old history books or, you know, lectures from, you know, elders. You know, again, this information could be used, but it's not getting lost in it, because again, we know that shit, you know, I am sourced on a human experience. I'm re-remembering information as much as I'm you know, learning something new for the first time. And also I'm bringing forth, you know, my uniqueness, my authenticity. You know, right now is very key. And again, it takes that release of fear for us to really be authentic and true about, you know, who and what we are. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be upfront about speaking on certain things, to, again, because that fear, you know, like that fear of like letting go of being, say for instance, a melanated person. Oh no, I'm not letting that go. Like, you know, that's identification, and that's fear of, you know, letting go of identity, fear of expanding the comfort zone, fear of, because again, as you learn something new and realize, well, all right, there's more to my existence than that, then that breaks down. You're no longer able to hold on to that frame of consciousness, you know. Kind of like, again, like once I realized, you know, you open your third eye and you realize how much of a hoax or bullshit thing that like sports commentary and all that is, you know, I wasn't able, like I couldn't even watch it, you know what I'm saying? Like even now, like I barely could even skim past it, you know, because it's just like, oh, you know, it's all lost, you know. And again, at certain levels of, you know, different levels of our growth, we all growing on different levels, but also back to the, you know, full circle of the situation of like, you know, it's really getting down to the nitty gritty of us really, you know, making sure that's really understood. So, you know, I'm gonna be playing less with that you know, getting back to that raw universal frequencies that it always should have been. You know what I'm saying? Again, that's why I'm like, I had to apologize, because again, I let that little fear seep into me and started like, you know, feeling like I should have this approach to, you know, matter of fact, again, trying to save people, you know, by, in essence, somewhat going backwards, you know. And I even say, only reason why I'm saying somewhat, because, you know, again, it is going backwards, but not going backwards to the extent of losing myself in it, but, you know, treading and backtracking nonetheless, you know what I'm saying? I have to be honest with that, because again, if I'm not able to be honest about that and acknowledge that, you know, then I won't be able to grow and, you know, really, you know, become my greatest version if I'm trying to, you know, not give a proper diagnosis to what's going on. If you don't acknowledge what's going on, you won't be able to give a proper diagnosis, you know, and really fix the situation if you're lying to yourself or hiding from what's really going on, you know. So that's another aspect. You know, you gotta look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, am I identifying too much with my, you know, bodysuit? You know, as far as like, not, well, the bodysuit, yes, because again, I just made a video about, you know, again, being in this world, not of it, and knowing like, you know, that ain't nothing wrong with like with taking care of our bodysuit. You know, we should be taking care of our bodysuit. You know, again, like if I go to another planet, you know, and I got my little spacesuit on, aka my bodysuit, of course, in order for me to operate on that plane of existence, you know, I got to keep that bodysuit intact. But I know that bodysuit ain't me. You know, like, again, with the fake astronaut situation, you know, with the little astronaut suits, you know, that astronaut know that shit, this is a suit. You know, like I'm taking this shit off and leaving it here at this little space station or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's a you know, a bodysuit at the same time, again, though, just like any vehicle, you want to make sure you're taking care of it in order to operate. Say for instance, Jacques Cousteau or whoever, diving into the ocean. You don't want no faulty ass oxygen tank. You know what I'm saying? You want an oxygen tank to be operating at its maximum. And just because my oxygen tank operating at its maximum don't mean that I think I'm an oxygen tank. You only think you are, or fall into illusion if that's what you constantly, preaching or coaching to yourself. Then yeah, you're gonna get lost in the sauce and think like I am my oxygen tank. But if like, hey, I'm taking care of this oxygen tank and making sure it got oxygen in it, so I could be able to survive in this realm, of existence. Then that's and be able to function in this realm of existence to the highest of my capabilities. Bringing spirit down, because again, it's about integrating the spirit within the bodysuit, to the highest level, and also again, like, and we're not getting deep into it, but that's also, again, that is a science to it, where it's just like a energy in essence, or well, let's just say just like an energy, but like with quote unquote carbon or whatever, transforming right now. Basically our body suits are crystallizing. So again, it's not to sit there and harp on the, yeah, carbon does this and this and that, but again, it's realizing as we speak on those things is deeper and bigger aspects, and a matter of fact, though, again, man, much love where it's due, though. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, if y'all watch my videos, y'all know I have no problem being like, shout out to so and so for this video, or shout out to, you know what I'm saying? Like, but like again, Polo the Flight Boss, much love and blessings, cause he really and matter of fact, as I'm doing this video, I'm gonna find my little old videos where I eat that situation myself as well, cause again, it's just me though feeling like I was being too out there, cause again, like, so just look at it from my perspective, like, I'm in Louisiana, and I can't blame it because I chose this situation for myself. So I'm not blaming it on, again, but the aspect of, looking at my surroundings and where I'm at. And again, that's why, so more so it's not, again, so it's not my external condition, it's more so me, because the reason why I say, for instance, a soul would reincarnate in this area is because, you may be dealing with some trauma of being too connected to your body suit and too connected to your heritage, too connected to your root chakra, you know what I'm saying, and being in this earthly plane, you know what I'm saying. So you're going to come down in an area where people really hold on to that energy, you know what I'm saying, as your test. To break yourself out of that shit and become the greatest version of yourself, you know what I'm saying? So again, blaming anything on any external conditions, like, you lost, but like, that's where, that's detrimental. That's a consciousness that's detrimental to your ascension, when you blaming stuff on external situations, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all our internal vibrations that invite, those external situations. But and again, back to the real culprit being fear itself, fear of growth, because in most cases, for people who want to hold on to, say for instance, think about somebody who calls them, and again, it's just a straight rawness of the information, like somebody who considers themselves adept at, melanated carbon, ancient knowledge, that deals with, Africa and just that whole pantheon of information, that whole, I don't know if I use pantheon right in that situation, but just that whole aspect, like somebody who feels like, that's really connected to that. Oh yeah, I teach on melanin and this and that. That it comes a certain point where that person is afraid to step into the unknown, because holding on to that historic and ancient information is like basically staying in a comfort zone. It's like not being courageous to try to find out new aspects, because again we're constantly evolving. So when I say new, but new things to us within this lifetime, you know what I'm saying? And it's like it's further aspects of, again, like the mystery instead of the history. Shout out to Polo on that. It's like it's getting into the unknown, and again you'll see that aspect of like where a person identifying too much with that information would be fearful towards expanding and expanding out of the comfort zone of that energy, because they may be identifying with it. That they may feel like, oh, this is my identity, this is what I identify with. So the soul is gonna kind of be locked down in essence by that identity, by trying to hold on to that that information or that status due to knowing that information as well. Because everybody may come to you and be like, oh, and again, not saying that the elders doing this or none of that, but just the aspect of how this could happen. Because as I'm saying this is because it's not, so again, it's not this higher self, what I'm saying, speaking in the first place. So so I'm learning as I'm talking a lot of times as well. But yeah, that construct of like like holding on to that information, because because say for instance, that part of me, that fear of being far out there, what I'm saying, like of discovering and tapping into these aspects that haven't been brought up within this lifetime, again, not necessarily new, but things that we're not too familiar with in this lifetime, or that we are working to remember in this lifetime. But again, it's an unknown area to tap into those energies. It's an unknown area to tap into that feminine aspect and go into that unknown of the subconscious mind, into those subconscious waters, into the the unknown, the bird box, walking into the unknown, leaving the fears behind, little voice whispering, take off that mask. You know what I'm saying? All that, because that's also what that bird box was speaking to too. Like the energy of like that fear, trying to pull people down even more. And it's through stepping into the unknown, like the bird box, like, we stepping into unfamiliar. So matter of fact, and with that analogy, again with the paradigm shift and all this, it's stepping into the unknown. And a lot of our history is familiar. So again, like when we holding on to history, you might want to watch yourself, because holding on to the history may be, and I say may, well, yeah, I was just say it may be highly likely that holding on to that history is maybe a fear of stepping into the unknown. Like, let me stay in a place where I'm comfortable, where the authority figures who I'm comfortable with, and the information they speak on, let me stay in that little mind frame, because I'm familiar with it. You know what I'm saying? Comfort. Comfort and familiarity. Familiar, I'm gonna get it. Familiarity. I didn't get it. Matter of fact, and even with that, Babylonish words, but you get the picture. Matter of fact, the energy, you get the energy that's being delivered. But again, that historic vibe, is being in a comfort zone. It's and for some people, again, like, and that's why like we shouldn't look at other people's journeys and, you know, wonder or like judge or assume like, oh yeah, just because that person's speaking on this information, they lost in the vibe of it. Nah, you know what I'm saying? A person again, certain, you know, certain aspects of our past, you know, whether it be, you know, dealing with magic and stuff like this, you know, we using information in books that came before, you know what I'm saying? Like you're dealing with astrology, using information, books or energy, you know, that you know, energy of information that came before, in essence, you know, like, so in so many words, you know, lack of a better word, again, like history or her story, you know what I'm saying? But you know, there are certain aspects of things that come from our past that we are using in our moment, but in a paradoxical way, we're using it in our moment to let go of it, to realize like, hey, you know, the whole thing that we were falling victim to was holding on to the past. And by holding on to the past, that's how history repeats itself, because you're doing the same thing. You know, you're holding on to the same situation, so the same situation gonna repeat itself. So again, you know, realizing where we gotta look in the mirror, like, you know, is, if you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change. I guess where is it? Michael Jackson, I shade, you know what I'm saying? But you know, that's the whole thing, is stepping out of our comfort zone, you know, and that's, you know, 2019 moving forward, you know, on so many levels. You know, matter of fact, briefly speaking on, you know, too, catching the vibes heavily about, you know, with manifestation, like, you know, balance, making sure we truly balancing our energies, and making sure that, you know, again, even though the divine feminine energy, like that primordial mother energy, you know, is flowing, and, you know, that's the energy, how can I say, an energy that we all are connected to, in essence. But trying to find a word. And then sometimes I be having to catch myself, because maybe that may be something, you know, like sometimes I be like falling out of my channel, and then sometimes I may be like, it be my ego trying to seep through in the information, in my high self, like, drop that message. So, you know, I again have to be fully honest and aware of that. But yeah, just speaking to that the aspect of us being more practical and hands-on about what we're doing in this physical realm, like you know, dealing with like, to a certain extent, having direction, making sure we're not just floating around, you know, like this 2019 gonna be definitely about, you know, having direction with what we're doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, and again, as I'm saying that, I'm speaking to myself, because that's what I've been working on, is to be more, you know, grounded and more logical to my approach, while still balancing that feminine energy and that intuitive connection, you know, making sure that intuitive connection is strong, you know, because it, you know, it is a way to balance, you know, those energies, be strong in our masculinity and our feminine energy, you know, and it's balanced uniquely, you know, to the uniqueness of our, you know, soul signature, so to speak, you know, but a balance nonetheless, you know. It may not be 50-50 down the line for all of us, but it's definitely not going to be like no, because again, that's not necessarily a balance. If, you know, it's like 10% masculinity, 90% feminine, you know, then that's almost like only on one side, you know. Just again, like 30-70 ain't too bad, you know what I'm saying? But again, it's just not exactly one blueprint and everybody's walking around 50-50 balance, you know, because again, then that would take us back to the place of all of us being exactly the same, you know. It's like, you know, that's the whole reason why we you know, we left that existence. Again, back to what I spoke on, that one just ball of consciousness by itself, you know. It's like that one ball of consciousness, like, nah, I want to expand and have experience. As a matter of fact, with that experience, I developed the idea of like, all right, I'm gonna expand myself in fractals, expanding out in a fractal vibe, and again, the hologram of love, again, we talk about crystal lattices or molecular structures, like the ley lines and meridians within our bodies, as above, so below. But, it's like a energetic blueprint, through sacred geometry, in essence, for what we call sacred geometries, but, the geometries of, that which should not be named. But yeah, just definitely again, the real culprit right now, the real thing that's gonna hold people back is the fear. Like fear of stepping, and more so fear of stepping into the unknown. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what holds us back from stepping into the unknown is fear. That's why later, the last few days, like right now, I'm gonna hop on a bus without knowing where it's going, because that's something that I fear. So I'm gonna do it. And it's breaking it down on all levels, because as much as you would think that's something like, oh, that's just mundane, it's like, nah, because that is an aspect of where in my day I'm stopping myself from expanding to areas, of growth, due to I'm scared to, I don't want to go to no new side of town today. I want to stay in the familiar coffee shop or in the same familiar area and same familiar routine every day. Like, and this is the aspect of kind of like when we think about, again, so tying in reference of history, we talk about chaos beings, you know what I'm saying, and stepping into that realm of the unknown, the deep primordial mother goddess waters, that primordial mother energy, you know what I'm saying, stepping into that vibe. So yeah, definitely again, at the end all be all of this situation, all of these different aspects are created aspects that we created to have experience. So the fact of a white man being an oppressor, we created that situation for this experience. The fact of us being melanated or black people, that's created for this experience. That is not what we truly are. This is not our, our true, essence. You know what I'm saying? It is a part of the essence. You know what I'm saying? Because again, source, is connected with, with everything, with all that is. You know what I'm saying? But again, say for instance, I'm connected. So say I'm trying to give a good example. Let's see. Again, resonating just with this earth is just like just resonating with my root chakra. Like I'm just gonna resonate with just like, well, no, it's a connection to more than just that one area. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, that's why a lot of the revelations, connecting with the seven seas or the breaking the seven seals. You know what I'm saying? The seven chakras. Open them up, expanding, raising our conscious level. Stepping into that. That Christ consciousness in so many words. But this level of breaking into that number 13, breaking out of the energies of the 12 disciplines or the 12 disciples, again, because we could use these energies to map out certain things, using astrology to like be aware of like what's going on around, again, like like the real news in essence, but like dealing with it in that manner, but not getting caught up in it. You know what I'm saying? Like not getting lost in the sauce of it, because realizing that those 12 zodiac signs is a part of the realm in reality for this plane of existence. That's not the realm in reality for every and all dimensions of existence, you know. Again, so in order to break out of this place, you got to realize that, because if we still looking at it like, oh yeah, that's the end all be all to everything, then again, familiar things that you are familiar with is gonna keep your soul here, because here it is again. Well, I'm familiar with it, so you know, trying to expand outside of just those, you know, 12 zodiac signs, it feels uncomfortable. You know, it feels like, oh wait, hold on, I'm leaving into a place, you know, that I'm unfamiliar with. You know, so it's again dealing with, again, once we getting our subconscious to a place where we know and realize that we are source on the human experience. So as we're dealing with these things, we're making sure, again, being in this world but not of it. You know, it's like, just because I'm using this this phone doesn't mean that I think like the technology and phones are the, you know, are more important than my bodysuit and more important than my soul. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm using this as a tool to you know, to relay some light, aka a message of, you know, sound information, and you know, to a certain extent visual, because you're seeing me on the video, but you know, just a way for me to relay light, you know, within this physical plane. As a matter of fact, and speaking of zodiac signs, that's why like our sun sign is seen as like the fake self, or like the self that we choose to show. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like, as above, so below. You know, with the, you know, the sun in the sky, not really the true sun. Like, that's the matrix sun. You know, and not really real light in that sense. You know, and again, by giving into like worshiping the sun, or worshiping, you know, like our zodiac signs, like, oh, I'm a Capricorn, or I'm a Sagittarius, like, I'm none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when people ask, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the time, and the, you know, time and dealing of my birth and stuff. Like, that's the energy, you know, that comes with this bodysuit. You know, but again, and even then, it's more than just the sun sign. Again, more than just the sun sign. You got the moon sign. You got your ascendant or rising sign. You got, you know, different planets and different houses, you know what I'm saying, that plays into all that is just as important, you know, just like the fullness of a bodysuit, you know, like it's different vibrations, different energies, but they all just as important to building the whole thing, you know what I'm saying. And again, it's, you know, acknowledging this, realizing it, but without getting stuck and caught up in the information. You know? And again, as I'm speaking on ending all these things, also speaking to myself as always, because, you know, I know that, again, it's a constant growth. You know, I'm constantly learning, you know, constantly learning new things, constantly expanding my own comfort zone, you know what I'm saying? Stepping into, you know, tying the little bird box bandana around the eyes and stepping into the unknown realms. But, you know, I definitely want to just share on that aspect, because yeah, I caught it on more than one level to speak on, you know, again, to that the melanin and black community, you know, like that whole vibe, man. Don't get lost in that sauce, you know. That's where, again, that's where that somewhat of that like hippie vibe of like, you know, not the ignore things vibe, but you know, that vibe of like, well, some people may see it as, oh man, you're just trying to ignore your history or this and that. Like, nah, you know what I'm saying? It's good for a reference, but we're not trying to harp on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we talk about stories of Hebrews and all this. This is stories of energies. You know what I'm saying? Like, when we think about, matter of fact, the word Peter, the Reverend Dr. Phil Valentine was I remember he said something, breaking it down, and then when you research it, you know, Peter name and so many words turned into the rock or minerals, but basically, you know, talking about the coming together of minerals, within the body in so many words. But like, you know, again, all these different historical aspects are talking about, you know, energetic stories, you know, and it's about us realizing the energetic story behind it and not sitting there and just harping on, oh, Jesus, oh, Jason and the Argonauts, oh, Pravati and this and that. And again, not saying that speaking on it is harping on it, but when that's just all we, you know, how can I say, dealing with it in a way where we like we should be using it to expand ourselves and not using it in a way that, you know, holds us into the constructs of it. You know what I'm saying? Like when I say Om Shri Ganeshaya Nama, you know, that's not holding me down. Like, cause say for instance, if to say that phrase would be holding me down in this matrix, that mean all of us who talking right now is fucked. You know what I'm saying? Cause we speaking a fucked ass language at that. You know what I'm saying? So if we was to say like, oh, you know, saying a mantra is getting stuck in the Hindu pantheon, and again, making a video speaking with English, you know, the fact that we making videos talking in English, and that would mean that, you know, we getting lost in the history of English. If just speaking English would mean that, you know what I'm saying, or just speaking a word would mean that. So again, you know, that was key right there, what I just said. You know, that's the importance of realizing, and the balance of everything. Again, it's like no one side to, you know, to anything. You know, it's about balancing these energies, you know. Matter of fact, shout out, oh man, I gotta take out my lepidolite. I was about to say shout out to the lepidolite / rubelite for the balance. We got a new little piece, new big piece. Matter of fact, big piece of fuchsite. Matter of fact, and even dealing with the crystals, you know, not getting lost in the sauce with that, you know, cause now I'm you know, making sure that my approach to crystals is in a manner where we're not like you know, admiring them in a way that you know, that holds us down in this construct, you know, and more so again dealing with it as a tool, knowing that these are little tools in this physical matrix, you know, just like anybody who using a phone or you know, a phone or a laptop or a camera as a tool right now. You know what I'm saying? Well, they're using that tool, but just because they're using that tool, does that mean that they're all for transhumanism? Does that mean like, yay, transhumanism, just because I'm using this camera in front of you? You know what I'm saying? Nah. You know, so again, you know, there's no absolutes. Especially like, you know, at least from when I speak on things, I realize, you know, now some things where it's like, all right, I really know that this energy is really, you know, like this is an energetic, I mean, this is you know, like some inner gnosis is like real, you know, like this is a real energy, like this is not no me making shit up in my mind type of vibe, like I'm catching a real vibe, then, you know, yeah, I'm going, you know, we deliver those you know, those bits of information with that strong, like, hey, you know, this is how, almost like this is how it is, you know, and it can't be no other way, you know, and not necessarily mean that, but it is a certain level of like, hey, this is what it is. Again, like, you know, this is what it is. We are a source on the human experience, you know what I'm saying? Just on a broad, general perspective of speaking on it, you know what I'm saying? Like, we are not humans being spiritual. We are energies, you know, ancient primordial energies within a bodysuit. You know what I'm saying? So it's realizing that, you know, getting the subconscious to really, you know, understand and recognize that. But that's basically it, because I don't want to make this video too long. Minute 19. Yep, ain't nothing but a minute. You know, an hour like a minute, God. But that's basically it. Because again, though, right now is that time, though. No stone unturned. If I feel a vibe to share it, regardless of, I know that people don't like to vibe with long videos, but this message needs to be delivered, and need to be delivered fully. Like, if I would have half-assed explained the situation and I would have left everybody with a vibe that would have been more harmful than helpful, you know what I'm saying? And it's getting to a place with that too, like being tight on the information as far as like, like still doing my thing fast and, bringing up little vibes that I'm catching in the moment. But, also realizing though, like as I'm doing videos on information, making sure that I'm tying in as much of all the other aspects and making sure I'm allowing for things to really be understood when I'm breaking things down. Again, that Maymester, no more backtracking. I did that video recently about, like, if we had to wait, matter of fact, blessings and love to the brethren Bobby him, if we had to wait for people to be ready for information, we'll probably be waiting another 2,000 years. So it ain't about waiting. We gotta come strong with this information right now, no matter how outlandish it is. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much it may seem like a person think I'm tripping when I say, energy could be shot out of my fingertips. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? As much as we weren't taught that in school, or should I say, as much as we weren't taught that in the indoctrination system to keep us asleep, for the most part, it is a fact, so again, not stepping back into that realm for myself, just, it's raw. It is, what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, I definitely, much love and blessings again, to Archangel Uriel. If y'all not checking out that brethren channel, y'all should definitely check out that brethren channel, man. Very enlightened being. That, because that's the thing too, realizing at the beginning, like, why, and not on that I told myself so, but to a certain extent, it's kind of like almost like I told you so to myself, like, but when I was vibing, in that realm of consciousness that I was in, like, brother, it's all a sham, and just always kind of, come to find out that I wasn't being so outlandish as much as I thought I was. Because again, realizing that, being in connection with source on such a high level gonna seem, crazy or outlandish to the rest of society, because nobody's, by majority, nobody's connecting on that level, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna seem like I'm crazy, but again, being crazy in an insane society may be a good thing, you know what I'm saying? It's a good thing to not fit into an insane society, you know what I'm saying? So I be having to remember that as well, too. But just making sure though that my ego not finding no excuse though to try to sneak in there and make me be on extreme on a spiritual level again, you know what I'm saying? Like, or just, making me so extreme on a spiritual level without balance. It's about balance, of course, still, knowing that I'm sourced on the human experience, and that, knowing about, connecting to those higher realms much strongly, but while connecting to those higher realms, grounding that energy within the physical, as well. But again, that's basically it, and just again on that 2020 vision, 2019 vibe, breaking down those old paradigms, and what we're gonna realize that it's even more work than what we thought. Like, that's the true vibe too. Like how, some of us thought, like, oh yeah, once I learned about going back to Africa, that was a wrap. like, oh yeah, I done got my, I done learned about, Africa, this and that, and again, and to even on a human level, like besides the fact of locking yourself down into the matrix by, you know, dealing with that information, but even on a human level, being like this plane of existence, man, indigenous beings were all over this fucking plane of existence at all times. You know, it wasn't just one continent. That's the little trick right there too. You know what I'm saying? It's a little banana in the tailpipe, like, oh yeah, Africa. So again, that name was named by somebody that came. You know, it's like, so don't place all your, you know, your bets, all your coins, all your little thing on just that identification with, you know, with being black or African, or, you know, with identifying with melanin. Again, there's a difference from acknowledging it, you know, from the realm of, you know, looking at it and diving deeper into what it really is, or, you know, and its connection with the universe. Or, nothing's wrong with looking or dealing with that information, you know, again, on a research vibe. But it's like whenever you dealing with it and getting lost in the sauce of, you know, identifying with it, you know. And that's where, because even where I'm realizing again, I just caught it, where my ego be sneaking just at me overly saying it sometimes. So that's why too, a lot of times when I do say it, I like to, you know, for lack of a better word, you know what I'm saying? Because I haven't channeled the information to know what is the word that it is before, you know, somebody gave it the English name melanin, you know what I'm saying? Because again, you know, dealing with these words, you know, but again, like how I just said though, not too long ago, with the Hindu vibes of like, but if just saying a word would damn us and lock us into that construct, that mean that, again, everybody who's talking right now is done. We all done, because we all talking. So to say, if I say a word, then that locks me down, then again, everybody fucked from that perspective, you know. But that isn't the case. So we not all fucked. Excuse my diction. But that's basically it, y'all. Just had to get that out. Peace. And matter of fact, I gotta let go of the fear of thinking like, did I say everything? Hey, I think I hit everything pretty, you know, on point. Again, though, it's the veil lifting, you know, to where like every day is gonna be. Matter of fact, like you're gonna be strongly, like how I talk about lesson loops and how, you know, dealing with psychedelics, how it strongly points out these areas of hindrance, like these areas that's like hindering us from ascending on a soul level, you know, that's you know, basically that's trying to keep us in the constructs of this matrix. You know, psychedelics point that out. But again, our own pineal gland secretes DMT, and through pranic breathing, through the proper breath, you know, you're able to, you know, secrete that DMT more and more. But again, we're moving into this higher dimensional existence, and it's gonna feel more and more like, again, everything is in real time, or should I say, like, so reason why we're having to clean out ourselves like this, because things are going to be manifesting on a quick level. So if we letting a lot of fear, you know, and all this pile up, and it's manifesting on a quick level, you know what I'm saying, and we're going to end up doing ourselves. So, you know, it's like being in alignment with our you know, our higher self, in order to because I was gonna say something else with that. I was saying, being raising with the higher vibrations, moving into the, oh yeah, because basically cleaning out ourselves, you know, because things are happening, you know, it's gonna be, you know, manifesting at such a quick level. But it was something else I was gonna speak to with that, you know, stepping into 5D, you know. It's all right, yeah. That's why lesson loops are much stronger, because it's like, all right, compared to like 3D things moving slower, you know, the vibe moving slower, you know, the lesson loops coming way slower. So like, say for instance, like growing up, you know, you might have came across a situation that was trying to teach you something when you was 4 years old and you didn't really catch it. So instead of it coming around the next day, or the, you know, instead of it coming around, you know, the next day or the next week or the next month, you know, nah, that lesson would probably come around when you're 5 years old and say, all right, here, let's see if you're gonna learn from this when you're 5, you know. And as we continuously grow, you know, and as these vibrations continuously to raise, you know, it shortens the gap in between those lesson loops, or in between the universe making us aware of these changes we need to make. So, you know, as we're growing, you know, so say for instance now at this time, well, all right, let's go to present time, where if I make you know, some type of decision that's detrimental to my ascension, the universe not gonna wait till tomorrow. And again, from my own experience and what I'm seeing right now with me, you know, it's like it's not gonna wait till tomorrow to make me aware of that. This is gonna make me aware of that like shortly after, you know, after I didn't pass the lesson loop. Just in that moment, it's like, oh, bam, I'm gonna have it waiting for you with your the next whatever you dealing with is gonna display this energy again. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to graduate from it. If you want to be the greatest version and you want to manifest things on such a high level, you gotta transmute and get rid of these hindering ass thought forms and, you know, and parasitic ways of thinking in our subconscious. You know what I'm saying? So it's constantly showing us like, hey, you know, you might get caught up in this melanin or being an African vibe. You know, you might want to correct that. Hey, you might get caught up in this identifying as a European or as a Asian person. You might want to correct. You know what I'm saying? You might get caught up in this energy. You might want to correct that. You know, like again, it's out of love. You know what I'm saying? Because again, we're gonna be able to manifest things on such a high level. So that's why we're having to clean ourselves out on such a, you know, quicker, so to speak, quicker or high level, you know, so to speak. You know, again, because that dimensional shift, you know, raising in those vibrations. So it's, you know, in order to constantly, you know, be in bliss and manifest that blissful outcome, you know, you gotta, you know, you gotta have yourself in that, you gotta be in the state to, you know, to achieve those blissful states. You gotta transmute all those old parasitic, you know, thought forms and mind frames. And now we're starting to realize that, you know, again, the lesson also that's coming very, you know, I'm catching a lot of in my inner gnosis, I should say, or just downloads in essence, is the road to hell could be paved with good intentions. So, you know, even though it's like from what you was taught from a religious perspective, the way you're going about spirituality seems peaceful and calm, and, you know, and it's good, and it, you know, it feels, you know, good. But at the end of the day, dang, what I was gonna say with that? Like, I was gonna say, you know, dealing with the little religious mind frame of things, and, you know, it looking good. Oh, the intentions. All right, the road to hell being paved with good intentions. So even though, yeah, it may feel good, you know, to say, for instance, it may feel good to say, oh, don't pay attention to negativity, you know, not it, you know, it may feel good coming from a place where you dealt with a lot of negativity and you haven't learned about the full aspect of how, you know, negativity is important. So, you know, coming early off in your growth, you know, in a little ignorance, you thinking like, oh yeah, I gotta ignore everything negative. I gotta ignore everything negative, not realizing that negative and positive is two sides to one coin. And by feeling like you gotta ignore the negative, you're creating a dualistic mind. And when you're dualistic in your thinking, you're subject to mind control. And also, again, being misguided and misleaded, you know, in general, you know what I'm saying? But again, back to the the road to hell being paved with good intentions, where oh yeah, it feels good to ignore negative stuff and this and that, and that's what I was told by this book. And and say for instance, in your mind you like, and my intentions were good, like as I'm studying this information, I wasn't studying it to be malicious to myself or others, you know but that's the thing. Now it's get to that point where yeah, we understand, but it's still an ignorant standpoint. You need to learn otherwise. You need to learn how to step away from this realm of dealing with things. Of course, you innocent in your vibe towards it. You like, well, I'm not trying to like, your intent wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hide from spiritual, like, it's just kind of a vibe that kind of just caught you, and you resonated with it, again, with the vibe of like, let me ignore negative. But again, and two, maybe looking at it through the popular, like how the new age movement push a lot of this misinformation, so you vibing with it off of the fact that it's a popular notion, because everybody, it's in all the books, so everybody must be doing it, so it got to be right, and it's like, well, nah, again, even though you got the good intention, you're trying to open up to spirituality, reading the books, but again, by not trusting, by not having that. And again, that's why things are so important about that heart's discernment, like having that opening up that heart chakra, and being able to have that discernment with our own inner source, our own inner self, our own inner guidance. Because at the end of the day, if we're being guided by something other than our own, what I'm saying, what other than our own inner source, then we're being governed, meaning being steered by somebody else mental, in essence, being governed by somebody else, but also again by, and it has like a parasitic vibe. That's why I even speaking to the, like with my channel and the information I speak on, like this is not for anybody to to try to adopt the same ways of interpreting things or doing things, what I'm saying. Of course, some things I'm speaking on is, the way for like, say for instance, dealing with crystals, working with crystals is something that, it's not just particular to me, it's like, I'm not the only unique person dealing with crystals, what I'm saying. That's not unique to just my vibe, so that won't throw anything off if you dealing with crystals, like, again, like you, because you read on the information or you see that it does something through somebody, through a reflection. But it's like, but borrowing, like, just certain ideals and way of doing things, like, just basically, I'll just say this, like, you should be dealing with your inner guidance, and your inner source should be the end all be all to all your decision making and what you're doing and saying, and how you're flowing with your intuition within your day, should all be derived from your inner guidance. And say for instance, well, even if it feels like you may be going off of something somebody else said, again, it still stems from your inner guidance. It should be, you should feel that it's your inner guidance telling you, hey, what so-and-so said in that video, just that certain part, not all of it, but just that part, that's something that you should be practicing. That's something that you should be practicing or doing. And again, but that should be the voice of higher self and your inner guidance, and not just you saying, oh, well, let me go and do what so-and-so said in the video just because I think that, they're very intellectual and, this and that, so let me just do it just because I think. Like, nah, you should be doing it because it resonates with your heart, because it resonates with your soul, you know what I'm saying? Like having discernment, but that's why, again, everything is about stepping into that unknown. In order to step into that unknown, you gotta release fear, and you gotta step into that, again, of course, all chakras being balanced, but stepping into that heart space and opening that heart chakra, and having that, that discernment, from that heart energy, because that's why, again, You know, you see the morning star is the Christ energy, as the Lucifer energy, and as Venus or the heart energy. The connection of balance being in the physical realm. Also uh, connecting with the non-physical realm, and it meeting each other in that heart space. The three morning stars and three form of communication, pointing to dealing with communication. But that's basically it. I definitely couldn't walk away. And soon as, like, when I came across that video, again, that the Brethren Flight Boss did, I'm like, oh yeah, that was like some major confirmation of, energies that had been kind of floating. And again, realizing for myself to stop, doubting, like to start connecting more to where because again, I'm always talking about I'm on my own growth, always speaking to myself. So realizing even within my growth, like to stop, having to constantly, look upon external condition for confirmation, realizing like, bruh, go with the flow of higher self is, it's always guiding you towards, doing, the beneficial thing. It's just whenever that fear pops up, because you're fearing the unknown, and that all fear want to do is just occupy. Like, fear just want to be present in your being, So any way that fear finds a way to scare you away from doing something, if you feeling like, oh, I can't do this because, or just wherever fear is at, again, it's trying to block you, and that's the whole thing. What we dealing with is, transmuting fear from our consciousness, because that's what, whenever and I go check out my video I did where I'm like, if you type in universal frequencies and fear, it should pop up. But fear and source cannot occupy the same body. But yeah, that's basically it. I think I uncovered everything. Everything as far as for in this moment, and what I was feeling that I wanted to share with everybody in this moment. I think I've covered everything. I ain't covered everything, but I did cover the most. And again, just wanting to get that again back to that point blank period vibe of like, any and all these identifications with this physical stuff of this matrix, whether it's the sun, whether it's the zodiac signs, whether it's being a melanated person, whether it's being a black person, a white person, an Asian person, a Iceland person, an Antarctican person, or Australian person, or African, Ethiopian, Mexican, like all that. Because another thing too, that's why they don't mind you being prideful and certain, like that's why they'll push anything dealing with pride, like, oh yeah, have black pride, or have matter of fact, shit, the government will fund, and that's where you get situations where the government will fund somebody, you thinking like, oh, I thought they was against black people. Well, no, not if they got, again, black people. Not if they got those people, the people operating in a way that further locks people into the matrix. Then nah, it's like, oh no, promote that vibe, same thing with like homosexual pride, like you use pride for that, for that situation, to promote people identifying with their sexual orientation instead of letting their sexual orientation just be what it is. It's like, oh, I identify as it. Look at my flag and this and that. You know what I'm saying? Again, getting us to overly identify with energies is the end game for the energies that's trying to keep us from ascending. In so many words, I just say it like that, the energies that are trying to keep other energies from ascending. Misery loves company, you know what I'm saying? So, and just think about it like this, when you really threaten to leave that toxic person, that toxic person that know damn well they being toxic, and that they kind of depend and eat off of your light and off of your good feeling, you know what I'm saying? That constant negative person, toxic, where, you know, as much as they try to like to flip the script and make it seem like you a problem or something like that, it's really them. And at the same time, you know, they really want you to, they want to try to hold on to you. So think about it like that: as above, so below. As you leaving that toxic person, you know, they really like, oh no, no, don't leave me. I want you. Where you going? Oh, please, oh, you know, no. And that's what, you know, that energy of fear, and that energy of, you know, those energies of fear, and that you know, want some company here in this physical matrix. You know, that's what it's doing right now, and it's just, you know, becoming stronger and stronger at, you know, at how it's trying to pull us down. But that's basically it. You know, matter of fact, another, and before I go, because importance too, like, you know, more and more fasting, you know, more and more healthier eating, you know what I'm saying? Whatever floats your boat and what you resonate with. But I can say, you know, within my own experience, you know, I'm seeing how it's, you know, it is much better for me to be eating things that are, you know, as healthy as possible, you know, without, you know, so staying away from a lot of processed food, and drinking a lot of water. Drink a lot of water. Make sure you're hydrated. You know, got some fresh H2O coming into the physical being. But yep, that's basically it, y'all. Peace. Happy now. Now's a vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. Peace, peace.